Welcome to the Let's Talk About Love, Sex, and Infidelity podcast with your host, Todd Creager. Todd has over 35 years of experience working with thousands of couples as a licensed therapist in his private practice. Todd shares his insights on this show. It's never too early to divorce-proof your marriage or too late to heal yourselves and have the relationship you truly want.
Hi, everybody. This is Todd Creager. Today, I am talking to the betrayer again. It's part of a series I'm doing for people that have betrayed, even though I encourage people that have been victims of betrayal or even know people that betrayed, that you could watch this and hopefully it makes sense to you in terms of understanding some things. Today, I want to talk to the person who betrayed about rebuilding identity. When you get caught, it's truly a change, of course, for the betrayed person. But since I'm focusing on the person who betrayed, it's a big change for that other person too. This person who has cheated, whether it's once or even multiple cheating, multiple infidelities, has had a lifestyle for weeks, months, or years where there are kind of compartmentalization and two different lives almost. There's the life that you present as a committed person, possibly a family person, married, husband, wife person, whatever. But then there's another part of you, this other secret. And now when you get caught, these two worlds collide. And it's very disorienting. The person who cheats typically, even though their cheating has put them in somewhat of an identity crisis, they may not be experiencing at that. They're too busy they're acting out and also trying to keep their other life together as much as possible. There's not really any time to take a look at their identity. But when you get caught, there are some questions about who am I and how do I rebuild who I am? So there are 5 questions I want to go through. The first one is, who am I now that I betrayed my values? Okay. And the second is, can I become someone my partner or anyone for that matter can trust again? Third one, is change even possible for someone like me? The fourth is, what does recovery look like for a serial betrayer, if you have been a serial betrayer, which we will talk about? And fifth and last is, do I need therapy or support groups or both? What do I need? So let me start with question number 1, which is, who am I now that I betrayed my values? When we say who am I think a lot of it is, how do we identify ourselves? And yes, you have betrayed your values. Unless you're a total sociopath, which most people, maybe all the people that are listening to me are not, otherwise you probably wouldn't be listening. You have betrayed something important to you. We all have our values, and one value is to be honest and upfront. And oftentimes we do value our marriage, and we do value our family, and we do value our committed relationship. So when we cheat, we have betrayed our values. Who am I? Who is this person? And I really want to say that the first step in answering who am I now that I betrayed my values is this. You are the person that can be interested and curious about all the parts of you. That's who you are. You're the person who is now interested and curious about the parts of you that betrayed, the parts of you that betrayed your own values and betrayed your partner, as well as the part of you that is angry at you for doing that. It may even include the part that really never want to cheat. That if you had only that part, you never would cheat, but you have this other part. So who am I now that I betrayed my values? I am that which is interested and curious about all these different parts of me. Why I think it's so important is, number 1, it really is who you need to be. Oftentimes, when we ask, who am I now, the universe or life itself is giving you some answers. And the answer is, I got to get to know me. So who am I now that I betrayed my values? I got to get to know me. I am the person that wants to get to know me. I thought I knew me. that I was this married person or committed person, and then I was this other person, but I bifurcated those parts of me. I can't do that anymore. I got caught. Who am I? Who are these parts of me? I got to get to know them. Who am I now? The second question, can I become someone my partner or anyone can trust again? That's a little bit related to my first question. Who am I now? If I'm a person who is now curious and interested in these parts of me, the parts of me that I could easily accept and the parts of me that I feel terrible about, but if I could be interested in those parts, then there's a chance that I could become someone my partner can trust again, or anyone for that matter, if the relationship doesn't stay together, because I am becoming more conscious. Because who I am is that person who's interested in the different parts of me, even the ones that betrayed my values. And as I get interested, and I learn, other choices can come into play. So the answer is yes. I can become someone my partner can trust again. As we get to know these parts of ourselves, we start to understand why we did what we did. There are reasons we did what we did. This part of me that cheated, there was a reason for it. And oftentimes, there were some good choices that weren't available to us. So, yes, you betrayed your partner. You are the one that made that choice. You chose it. I'm saying that people that betray oftentimes are missing a possible other choice. Example, a person who grew up in a home where their feelings always were, they're taught were taught they had to go underground with their feelings. The choice they didn't have is they grow up into an adult because people just continue their old habits. So you're able to bring up and be more vulnerable with their partner and share what they feel and get some love and support from their partner. They don't even know to do that. As you are interested in these parts of you, even the parts that have been wounded, back to question number one, you can become someone your partner can trust as you start to find, as you become more conscious, that you have more choices now in how to help yourself, regulate yourself, meet your needs, so that you can meet your needs in a way that doesn't betray the other person or your own values. Third question, they're all related here. Is change even possible for someone like me? The answer is absolutely yes. We're not changing the core of who you are. What we're trying to do actually is help you discover the core of who you are and discover that your infidelities or infidelity came from different factors, sometimes factors that you weren't even conscious of. And as you become more aware, as you do this work that I help people do as well, change is for sure possible because we do things for reasons. And when we start to find we have other options and choices, those reasons to do those things fade away. We don't have a need to cheat, to have secrets, because we now have other ways to meet our needs. Fourth question, what does recovery look like for a serial betrayer? Again, when we look at what I've been talking about in the other three questions, your identity is not one of a cheater. There's a part of you that cheated. There's a part of you that hates that you did it and regrets it. There's a part of you that I'm talking about who you are is that part that's curious and interested and wants to even be caring to all those parts of you so that you can integrate and make better choices. So what recovery looks like for even a serial betrayer is that it's not so much, yes, you're not betraying. You're not having secrets. That's true. But in addition to that, you are communicating more openly. That's what it looks like. You're being more vulnerable. You're sharing what you feel, what you need, what you want, what you don't want. You are also less self-absorbed because you don't need all these protections that you used to have. So because of that, you're now more available to your partner. You become a better listener. You're more interested in what your partner's going through. You're not, like I said, you're not so self-absorbed. So there's room for the needs of your partner. There's room for you to listen to your partner and other people as well. You get more, what it also looks like is you see the benefit of saying no to yourself for certain things so that you could say yes to what you really want to build in your life, like a good, healthy, committed relationship. So what it looks like, even if you were a serial betrayer, is that you're living with more intention now. There's the intention to create a relationship, build a life that you could feel really good about. And that only comes, like I said, when you respond to some of the things I said in the previous questions. You become interested in your parts. You become a more trustworthy person because you're doing the things you need to do, and that you are making definite changes in how your emotional needs are met. And so that's what it looks like. You find yourself more intentional, more committed. You spend time trying to create a healthy relationship. You're not, again, it's not just not cheating. You're spending time creating a healthier relationship with your partner where your partner knows you. You're not doing even what I call micro hiding. You're not hiding your feelings. And you're very interested in the other person too. The last question, do I need therapy, support groups, or both? Yes. Not everybody's the same. Maybe you don't, maybe support groups are the way to go for you. I find that therapy is, I'll say, almost a necessity. Maybe I'm underestimating it. Maybe I should just say it is a necessity. The reason I find therapy so important, as well as support groups, but specifically therapy, is because we have our defense mechanisms. And even if we have the best of intentions, to do it on our own is like doing surgery on ourselves. We need somebody who's skilled, like myself, that can help you navigate, to help you develop that curiosity and interest to understand more deeply what was going on with you, and then how to navigate a life where you're becoming a more conscious person, and to help you develop that vision of what it looks like for you when you're recovering, even if you're a serial betrayer. So it's very difficult to do that on your own, nearly impossible. You need a guide. It's like a whole new world. It's if you went on a whole new area of the world. It's nice to have a tour guide. It's like that in a way. Someone who knows the landscape a little bit. Maybe doesn't know your particular landscape, but knows the landscape of the dynamics of what goes on and what might be behind those kinds of past choices, and appreciating the different parts of you and helping you in a kind way to still challenge yourself to be the best person you could be. That's helpful. And support groups are also very helpful. Maybe both would be better than just a support group. You can do therapy and a support group. Maybe that's wonderful because you have the therapist who's focusing just on you and you get that one-on-one. But at the same time, support groups are ways to consolidate your intention and to see people that have gone through similar things as you possibly. That can be really helpful. I've seen people really benefit from support groups. I've also seen people who thrive even without support groups. So that's something you would have to look at and get a sense for, maybe experiment and try and see how you feel. That's what I wanted to say about rebuilding identity. Identity is something that just changes over time. And oftentimes the crisis of infidelity and being caught can accelerate the journey of developing an identity that's more and more closer to your core, to who you really are, who you really want to become. This is Todd Creager, and thanks for listening.
That's it for today's episode of Let's Talk About Love, Sex, and Infidelity podcast with your host, Todd Creager. For free resources and materials, head over to toddcreager.com. Loved this episode? Head over to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and leave a review. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.